How do you balance life as a student athlete?
Having an agenda and having a planner. I use the Google Calendar on my phone to list out where I need to be at every time of the day because you are going to have a lot of meetings, you're going to have class, you're just going to have a lot of things that you need to make sure that you know what time you need to be there. So I use that, and then I just have an agenda for my daily school activities and daily things I need to turn in. So I use that as well. And then I just try to make sure that I focus on school. Sometimes you have to miss out on a couple things, but it's all worth it in the end. It's a good experience.
Balancing academics and volleyball, you have a lot of resources and you have a lot of you have a good solid support system behind you.
I think it was pretty tough to try to be open to everything, like to try to enjoy this class. Like, yeah, you're here for like 2 hours and you really don't want to be, but just like pay attention and like immerse yourself in what's being taught. Sometimes in volleyball, you don't want to be there because you're tired. Well, just immerse yourself in this sport that, you love and you get to play like every day.
Something that I would definitely say that I could have done better was start my time management in high school or even like the summer before coming in. My advice would be just get a planner and then learn how to use it over that summer. That way you're used to it when you come in the fall, and just be more aware of all the resources that you have and to be able to use them all.
I think it's different for everyone. Everyone kind of gets it on their own time. But I think the most important thing for balancing is just making those sacrifices and putting a lot of other priorities beforehand. So just hanging out on the weekends, like if you have to sacrifice some of those things just to get ahead of homework or different assignments or just studying, I think that's probably the best thing to do to start balancing between volleyball and academics for sure.
How did you guys deal with the pace of recruiting?
So I think that especially getting recruited out of a junior college, it was a lot more stressful than when I was getting recruited out of high school or like having those options, just because you have to take into consideration, well, are my credits going to transfer? Like there's just a lot more and just with everything. But I think that keeping up with the pace, just like I had a list in my phone of like questions I would ask coaches and like what I wanted in a school, where I saw myself, all this stuff. And then also just being in a lot of communication with my family, because obviously they're going to have a really big say, not a big say in it, but like they're going to have your best interest in mind too. So I remember relying on my parents a lot when in the recruiting process, just to kind of talk me through everything and get to the best decision for all of us.
For me, yeah, I think reaching out to like the adults in my life, more so my coaches, I think at the time, my club coaches and like the directors of my club were super helpful when it came to recruiting, and they kind of organized it in a way and set up profiles and stuff for us so that the process was a lot smoother instead of just kind of getting random things at us and not really knowing what to do with it. So they kind of like, I feel like they kind of filtered things for me so that everything was just like easy decisions and based off of how I felt instead of getting lost in like, I guess like the commotion of it, because it can be really fast paced and you can get really caught off guard, especially dealing with all the other stuff going on, whether it's your junior or senior year of high school. For me, it was my senior year, but that year was hectic in itself. So trying to figure out those future choices can get a little complicated. So I would recommend like asking your coaches and your parents to help you out.
So was there a specific moment or experience when you knew you wanted to choose and go to UCR, and what was that moment?
I want to say that my two favorite things when I first came in our tour was first just like walking around the school and how like careful people were on like showing me every single part of it. And second, I really, really liked how the volleyball program treated me when I first got there. So like how careful they were on showing me the little things or showing me the gym. I don't know. I just felt really, it just felt like people wanted me rather than just, oh, come here just to come here. Okay, so I remember walking with my dad, and he was just like, wow, this is so different than everything I've ever grew up in. So, like, if you even, if you have a chance to come here, that's just amazing. So I just remember looking back and, like, this is such an opportunity that my family never got to, like, have. Like, my parents grew up in something so different. And, like, the fact that I have such a cool opportunity to not only come here, but also play volleyball, it's so rewarding that I was like, okay, I think this is the right decision for me.
I don't think that there was like a specific moment where I was like, oh, this is the school. I think it was just a lot of things were falling into place. Obviously, it's really close to home. So that was a big thing. And then also it's such a great, like it's a UC school, and I would get to play volleyball on top of it. So I don't think there was any like specific moment or experience I had. It was just, it kind of made sense to go here. Yeah, on my official visit, I really liked the team and just interacting with them. That was another thing. And then obviously it's just a great school, and it says something to graduate from a UC school and have your degree from there. But
it was probably my unofficial visit. I sat in on like a practice, and just watching everyone kind of like have full effort, and every play was kind of just everyone's best, and like doing 100% every time was really like a cool thing to see that everyone's just doing their absolute best and giving 100% of their effort all the time. And outside of volleyball, on my tour, I got to see like the college that I was going into, and kind of seeing like the cool stuff I could do, and like engineering major at the school was really eye-opening to like the different things that I could do. And I just really liked just the type of program that I was going into. Not very long, I don't think. I think I went home and I like talked to my mom about like everything that was going on. She just asked me like what about it did I like, and just me going on about everything that I liked and like how it made me feel just to be there. I think it didn't take me very long to just be like, I want to go here.
We talked to Coach Michelle and Coach Lisa when she used to coach here for like 2 hours about like the program and everything, and that really like caught my attention, and I really fell in love with like what they were telling me and everything. And I've already saw the school, and it just reassured me that like I really wanted to go here. And yeah, basically that moment. It made me feel good. It made me feel like they like really cared about their players and everything, and they like talked to me about how like competitive it was to play at in the Big West Conference and everything, and that really caught my attention. And I really am a competitive person, so I thought it was like a good mixture.
I think it was after my unofficial visit, I started like doing my own research about the school and watching some past games. And I saw a Hawaiian match from the previous season. I think that was like, oh, I want to do that, because it just kind of looked professional and the environment looked really cool. It just made like the team look so cohesive, and it seemed really exciting, and it made me want to be a part of that kind of environment. So that was probably it. I think when I was just sitting in a practice, it was like an early morning practice, but seeing the effort that everybody was putting in, and like it was pretty early, and I was impressed at like how much energy everybody had in the morning. I thought that was really cool. I compared it to like, you know, some teams that I've had where I felt like there was a lack of energy. So I felt like if I choose to continue playing, I was like, that's the kind of team that I'd want to be on. So just seeing the environment, like the way the team was able to work without interference from the coaches, I thought was pretty cool.
What was the most drastic change from club or high school volleyball to college volleyball?
I think the most drastic change is definitely the pace of the game. Your blocking moves and just like how quick you have to be able to transition, it's so drastically different. You have less time to think, and you just kind of have to go. So that's definitely something that I've learned. It takes time. So like we're all still learning how to do it. It takes a lot of time. So just be easy on yourself. Like for me, it's definitely the blocking and transitioning. It's so fast, and I struggled with it, and I still struggle with it. So it's just like definitely something that is much different and that we're all still working on.
Okay, just going based off of what Amma said, I think I have to agree that it's definitely the pace of the game that changed drastically for me from high school to college.
Do you guys have any pregame rituals, and how do you mentally, physically prepare for matches on match day?
For pregame rituals, one thing that I started doing last season was listening to like a podcast before games when I was warming up. I would just listen to a podcast because it would get me calmer and more in like the game mindset. I realized then like really hyped up music did, and so that was one thing that I started doing when I would be like warming up and heating and like getting stretched and all of that stuff.
I guess I like have kind of two kind of things. I like to I don't mean to sound like weird, but like I like to feel like there's this one player, I forgot his name, I think it was Emmett Smith. He said, if you look good, you feel good, then you play good. And so I just like, I always think about that before games. So I'm always like doing my edges, like I put just a little bit of makeup on, not too much. And I just feel like if I feel good, like if I feel like I look good, then I feel good. And if I feel good, then I'll play good. And so I've always thought about that ever since I heard that quote. And I also like to listen to like music, like loud, like heart pumping music, like dance, go crazy, and just like I just think that it's a good way to kind of shake off the nerves.
My pre-game ritual would have to be double tying my shoes every time. I do that pretty often. And then I also take deep breaths before I head out and just try to slow my heart rate down because I get pretty excited and also nervous at the same time. So that pretty much helps every time.
I do two things before games. So first and foremost, I always heat and stretch. Even if I don't feel sore, I roll out and just make sure everything, like my body feels good. And then another thing I do is I try to say like a quick prayer to kind of bring some like peace of mind before I step on the court. Because once you're on the court, your adrenaline just starts going really fast. So it just kind of slows, for me, it just like slows my heartbeat down and just makes me more in the moment.
I have a weird thing that I always do before I show up to the game or like show up for any film that we have. I always have to have my fingers taped before so I don't have to worry about it during like when we're in the locker room or anything. I just like to have that done so I don't have to worry about it. And then also I will always listen to pump up music. You will never hear me listen to anything else, always pump up music. So, and then also I like to write on the back of the film sheet that we have of extra notes that I need to remember, because that helps me, like if I need a quick, like someone's like, what are we doing on this person, I'll like have extra notes on the back to make like to have everything that Eric or Andy has said.
I do have a certain playlist that I listen to. It's just music that makes me feel just ready to do anything. So like just really loud music probably.
I like to go over like the scouting reports and film notes and kind of like rewrite them, because like sometimes looking at the sheet is like a little overwhelming. So one thing that helped me a lot was to like get a piece of paper and just like write it all out. Like writing it down helps me to remember it. And then same thing, just listening to music. It would depend on the day. Like sometimes if I was feeling nervous or anxious, I wouldn't want to listen to like super loud music. I just want to be like calm and listen to something a little quieter. But other days I would listen to like hype up music. And
yeah, I like to go over the film notes one last time. If we didn't have music playing already, I'd like to put my AirPods in and just have something to get my mind in the zone. It's usually like rap music or something to like hype me up. I guess like a random thing, I always chew gum before the game. It's just like a thing that I do. It kind of distracts me. It like calms me. I don't know, when I focus on like the chewing, it distracts me from any like nerves that I might have in the rest of my body. So I'm always chewing gum before a game and sometimes during a game too. But that's pretty much the gist of it.